So yeah, I welcome you all to Arunachala, to Tiruvannamalai. I'm settling in here. And of course watching the news about what is going on in Europe. So I just wanted to take a moment to reflect a little bit our task, if you will, or our way of being as sadhaks. Even in difficult times, even in times of trauma, our task is to keep an open heart. We don't take sides in these matters, in this way of the world. Our compassion, our love, is for life itself. By keeping an open heart, by turning toward the source of being, consciousness, you are offering all the help that you can. With an open heart, if you feel moved in some way, the body can do what you feel is necessary. But if you keep the heart open, loving, caring, compassionate toward all beings who are suffering, then your actions will be powerful and truly helpful, because the heart of being will be acting through you, as you. During these very difficult times for many, many people, and many people in the Satsang, I would say also, we offer our open hearts, our kindness, our deeper understanding of the source of all of this life. So our sisters and our brothers in Russia and Ukraine, throughout Europe, might find in us a source of love and compassion in a time of fear and uncertainty. Keep turning toward the source, my friends. This is where happiness lies. Support those around you with your love, kindness, and compassion. All right, who would like to start? Anyone? looking for you. Hold on just 1 second. There you are. Start talking, Ciara. Turn your mic on and start talking. There you are. Okay. Yes, hello.
Hello. Thank you so much, Rishi. I'm very happy to see you again.
Yes.
Great to see you. And I have a question related to pray. What does it mean to pray? Of course, it's a question that I grew up in the Catholic in the church, Catholic church, and so the prayer is something that's very important. And then growing up in the spiritual path, this question of related to prayer is still there because I like to really understand, especially nowadays where you can see so many people that are suffering so much,
Yes.
how prayer can help and what really means to pray.
So, like everything else on the spiritual path, all the tools we use, whether we're talking about prayer or mantra or chanting or anything like that, there are various levels of understanding. On the most basic level, as you know, in the Catholic Church, I also grew up in this tradition. This is what's called an intercessory kind of prayer. So this is where you feel yourself to be separate, and there is a great being somewhere that you are asking for a favor, you can say. So this is the most basic level of prayer. But as we progress spiritually, prayer becomes something a little bit different, doesn't it? You've experienced this yourself. Prayer becomes an expression of our longing to wake up, to be compassionate and loving toward other people. And so for a while we can still feel as though this is very helpful for us. But the reason it's helpful, if you really look at it, is because what we are doing is centering ourselves in the heart. There still may be this feeling, it's based in the fact that we still have a sense of separation. But we receive some comfort, and we turn inward when we think about this word prayer. So we are not out here anymore. Now we are in the heart. Even though we don't know what we're praying to or who we're praying to, it's okay, because we get this sense of comfort and this sense of centering in our own hearts, even this heart that feels separate. But in the end, in the way of inquiry, you can say what is happening is we are simply plunging our own concern, our own doubt, fear, worry, whatever it is, we are plunging it into the heart of being, in the center of ourselves as being, consciousness and bliss. So we are taking all of this outward flow and being sure that it doesn't turn into something out there in the world. We are bringing it back to the source, placing it firmly in the source. And at that moment, when we release it into the source, what we are saying without saying it is, I can do nothing. Take care of it. So we are surrendering this little self into the source of being, consciousness, and bliss, and offering all of our concern into the heart of being. And then from this open heart, everything is supported. Everything is understood to be as it needs to be in this moment. And our concern drops away, and this becomes just the prayer of natural being. So it's not an intercessory thing, it's not going on in the mind. It's just opening the heart to what is and resting there. We can still call it prayer in order that we can talk about it, but this may not at all be the way that you experience it. It may be, but it also may not. In a way, it's just simply coming to the stillness of our own being and resting there, and knowing that in that recognition, all is well. Everything will be as it needs to be. So can you all see Malik's question, comment? Yes? Bhagavan located the spiritual heart on the right side of the chest. Do you have any comment on that? No, trust him. No, but he's true. This is a question that does come up quite a lot, you know. Maybe when you saw me speaking, the way that Bhagavan explained this, I just realized now when I was speaking, and I said, when you fall into the heart, I went like this. I'm using my right hand, and I'm also going like this. I'm not going like this to the left side. I'm going like this. This is the natural way. Each of you knows this movement. If you think about yourself, or if someone says, where are you? You say, I'm here. And you generally, if you're right-handed, you will use your right hand and you will point to the right side of the chest. He said this was a natural indicator that the heart of being has its residence, could be accessed a little bit to the right side of the chest bone, of the breastbone. Not where the physical heart is, but to the, just a little bit. Traditional scripture says 2 finger widths to the right side of the breastbone, of the center line. So we just defer to those who have more knowledge than we have about those things. But the sages are also quite unanimous about this in some way. This is not the heart chakra, this is not the physical heart, this is the heart center. This is the place that Bhagavan Ramana said, if you still yourself when you first have that sensation of waking up in the morning, that if rather than doing something right away, thinking about what you have to do that morning or whatever, he said, if you just wait for 1 minute and look deeply, you can see this place on the right side of the chest where the spiritual heart has its root. And from this place, if you are really observant and very quiet, the mind is kept in that waking sleep state for a few minutes, then you can actually see that this is the place where the life force, if you will, of all of creation enters the physical body, and it spreads from this very particular point on the right side of the chest. And you will feel that point just a split second before you feel the energy flood the body, and then the bright mind come on and say, you better get up and make your coffee because you have to get to the office. If you are very present at this moment, and the way to become very present at this moment in the morning is as you get ready to go to sleep at night, just to say, first waking, look to the right side or look to the heart. Then when you go to sleep, this command will be there in the morning. You'll have a better chance if this is interesting to you. This is not required by any means. If it's interesting to you, you can look. Someone told me this week, I gave this instruction a couple of weeks ago, because he was having a lot of anxiety. He was waking up feeling like he was in a full-blown anxiety state. So it turned out, this was something that I really wasn't aware of this. I've always looked to this place myself as a way of following Bhagavan's teaching, wanting to see this, wanting to know about this, finding this to be true. I didn't realize that by giving him this instruction would make it possible for him to wake up the next morning with no anxiety. Because he gave himself this programming command at night before he went to sleep. As soon as a waking consciousness enters the body, look to the right side of the chest. And instead of leaping over awareness itself and into this underlying current of anxiety, he opened into awareness itself. This was transformative for him. He's been doing this now each morning. And this is not a way of suppressing the anxiety, it's a way of looking directly to the source of being. Rather than letting the habitual or conditioned mind jump right over the natural awareness which is here and into whatever the mental concerns are for that moment or that day. So this can also have this direct appeal, apparently, for some people. So for those of you who have been to Tiruvannamalai and been to Ramana Ashram before, I wanted to let you know that the ashram has fully opened now. It's still not open with the long hours, 5 a.m. in the morning until 9 at night, but it is open from 7:30 in the morning until 7 at night now, and People are being being permitted to come in during that period of time, to be in the samadhi, to go around the samadhi, to the Vedas are being chanted morning and evening again, and the Parayana, the chants to Arunachal and so on, are being, that many of you are familiar with and love so much, are being chanted in the evenings also. So things are, in that regard, are definitely improving here now. And this will be this month will be the first full moon pradakshina. The circumambulation of Arunachala will happen. It's still not clear that people are not being welcomed from outside the state of Tamil Nadu, but people who live in this local region will be able to come to Tiruvannamalai and do the circumambulation of the mountain. So slowly, slowly. It was such a joy to be there the other night on the first night. People were so happy just to be there, to be together again as a community, to hear the Vedas being chanted and to be in the current of Bhagavan's grace. Very special evening. So I have a short video that I took that night, and if you all are interested in it, I'll post it on the Still Mountain page tomorrow. It's just a brief video, a couple of minutes from around the Samadhi. So I will post that tomorrow. Yes, I see. Please hold, Isaiah. Okay, I have you. Hello.
Hi, thanks.
There you go.
Over the past like year or year and a half, I've thought a lot about, I guess, the question of whether or not like karma exists. And in the specific like kind of karma that I'm talking about, I guess is the idea that if someone is hurtful to other people in their life, that will harm them in some way later on. And I guess I just have really just been like thinking about all of the people I know and the things that they've done and how that has turned out for them. And when I sort of look at when I think about like the world and the people in it and stuff, I sort of get the sense that a lot of times there aren't really any consequences to cruel behavior. Sometimes there are, but a lot of times there aren't. And I guess this seemed like an okay opportunity to ask what your thoughts on karma were, and whether or not you perceive it as something that is real in the universe.
Are you real?
Yes, I think so.
As long as you persist in this belief, I am real, he is real, she is real, then karma pertains. And you said some people don't seem to have consequences. Understand that karma is a long game. Because you don't see the consequences immediately doesn't mean that there aren't consequences that may come decades, years, lifetimes later for what you're calling bad behavior or whatever. But also I want you to clearly, as clearly as possible, understand that karma is related very directly to the idea, I am the body. And by extension, you are the body. So as long as there is this sense of separation and separateness, I and you, then karma pertains in that way. This all the sages have said. This is the foundation of karma. Is not that there is a good and bad, or there is somebody keeping score and making sure that there are consequences. It's that as long as you believe that you are separate, you will suffer the consequences of that belief in separateness. Okay? So, how do I live with this recognition? Simple. Wake up. If you cut the knot, the granthi, that is the belief, I am the body. If this is cut and severed to never return, then what is also severed is the consequences of karma, because that karma is related to the idea, I am the body or the body-mind. All right? As soon as there is the recognition, I am the self, and all doubt is removed, now whatever happens to the sage, to the yoni at this moment, looking from the outside, someone is looking at the yoni and saying, she is doing this, she is doing that, so there must still be some karma associated with this? No. This is just the prarabdha karma, or the after effect of having taken birth in a body. Understand that the reason a body takes birth is because there is some residual karma somewhere. This is the samskaras which are talked about in the tradition, the seeds of conditioning, the seeds of tendencies. This is what causes the body to be renewed, let's say, by a new birth. When this understanding is severed and it's understood, I am not the body, I am the self, and this is beyond a doubt, all the karma that is left is burned up at that moment. There is nothing left. But the body itself, if it is going to live out its natural existence, and during that period of time, it will experience things that are related to the fact that the body is here. So there will still be sickness, old age, death. These kinds of things will still apply. But this is not the consequence of the karma of the long extension over lifetimes. This is the simple burning up of the karma of this particular body, and this body will be the last body. Unless the sage, at the last moment, says something to the effect of, I am that which is here, eternal, unborn, undying. Where would I go? I am always here. Now, whether the body comes again or not doesn't matter. It's not going to come as a consequence of karma. It can come then as a consequence of realization. This is what we see in the Tibetan tradition, where lamas can know where their next birth is coming from, know where it's going to happen. They can say, go to this place at this time, this child will be here, and he will recognize all of his or her ritual objects. This is what happens in the Tibetan tradition. So in the case of the Bodhisattva vow, in the Tibetan tradition, it can be said, I will reappear in a body at this time, at this place, for the sake of my devotees, for the sake of all mankind. And this is the Bodhisattva tradition.
That makes sense. Thank you.
So this is, again, a strong motivation, isn't it? To just wake up now. One of the ways that you can fulfill this in your own destiny is to be very clear that whatever it is needs to be cleared up so that you don't need to take another karma body. You say, bring it on. Bring it all here now. Let me finish it in this lifetime. And as you approach your own death, you say, okay, this body is dying. Let's finish this now. And in this way, you open yourself up to the possibility of this supreme grace, where you awaken completely and fully in this lifetime, using everything and every experience in this lifetime in order to complete this journey into the source.
That makes sense. Thank you for the response.
You're so welcome. Hello, Sanji.
Hello, thank you. I just felt like something was a bit not triggered, but something came up when you said you were just speaking before, and you said in this lifetime that you can wake up if you just say, bring it on. And this thought sort of came, like there's a strong belief that this is just not going to happen for me. Like I'm just too much me, this like person. And I just wanted to share and put it forward.
Yes, this is a very, very, this thought is, this thought is really interfering with waking up. So see it very clearly that this is the way that the mind veils, right? It hears all of this good, it gets all of this good information. We're having a little bit of a technical problem here. Is it feedback from her mic? Okay, yeah, good. When you want to speak, turn your mic on at the moment you want to speak, and then because we're getting a double feedback here. Thank you. So this is very, very good that you see this, because not about this necessarily this idea, but just because this is the way the mind veils, and it drops that veil so quickly that the heart can hear the truth spoken, or it can read it. Someone can say it to you, and right away the mind goes, yeah, but not me. Yeah? It's like this. So see this as that's the activity in the scriptures that's called veiling. It's the veiling quality of the mind. It's the ability of the mind to deny the truth of the heart. But as soon as you see it like that, now it has no power over you. Beautiful. Now when you hear that voice in your mind, you can simply say, I am not that. You can push it aside. Not this, not this. This thought is not true. You can wake up in this moment. You don't need this life to wake up. You need this moment. Here now, you already are. You know that. I say to you, you are here. Are you not? Are you here? Do you know it? Are you aware that you're here? Yes. In this moment, you are awake. Yes. Very good. So now when the mind says, no, not me, not in this lifetime, then you know the difference between this moment of clarity and this moment of veiling, correct? Okay. Very good. Are you here? Yes. Stay there. Nothing else to do. Stay there. Okay. Welcome, Kamal. Welcome, Diana. We have some late arrivals today, so.
Rishi.
Mhm.
My name is Pat.
Hello.
I want to ask about sort of a physical reaction to settling and dropping in. It's a little bit of a diaphragm contraction that I very often have, you know, with music, with chanting, with your voice, with certain ideas. And it's, it's fairly persistent. And it's not so much bothersome, but when you said veil, I thought maybe this is a little bit of a veil, sort of knocking me out of that place of looking. So I'm just wondering there's a way to work with it.
So can you describe it a little bit more to me? Is it like a physical contraction of the diaphragm?
Yeah, it's a jerking, a contraction of my diaphragm, and I sort of do this.
Almost like an unexpected cough or something.
Mm-hmm.
And it causes what? What does it do in the body? Does it cause you to have a difficulty breathing, or what does it do that is distressing?
It's not actually distressing.
Oh,
It just is.
this was what I was going to recommend. So.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it just is.
It's been going on for some time.
Ever since one of the first satsangs I did with you.
And is it happening right at this moment?
Not at this moment, but a few minutes ago.
Yeah. And so what's the reaction in the mind when this happens?
I don't really react so much as just there's that.
There's that. But there's no distress around it, right?
Mm-mm.
Okay, just continue. This is not this particular thing. I've not heard this one before, but I've heard other stories, and certainly had some in my own experience in the past, various kinds of physical reactions that will seem to come to sort of break the pattern of stillness, or break the pattern of peace, or break the pattern of concentration or something, Mm-hmm. And the remedy is always the same, and that is do nothing. If the mind is not panicking, do nothing. And let it subside. Realize that this is a phenomenon like any other phenomenon. So our practice is always to move to, if we're disturbed by any kind of phenomenon, by any kind of object in the field of view, is always to drop back into the recognition, the witness position, and simply watch that rising and falling, whether it's a physical sensation, or whether it's a thought, or it's an emotional sensation or reaction. Always the same instruction, which is to just recognize, I am that which is aware, I am that which is seeing this, here it comes, I can feel it, here's the peak, and there it goes. Because we just don't know what the source of that is, and so we're not going to spend a lot of time saying, where is this coming from? Is this some sort of old karma? Is this some sort of fear? Is this some sort of, we can say it's a veiling quality, it's an attempt by the mind to veil, but we really honestly don't know. So just wait. As long as there's no distress associated with it, then yeah. Remain peaceful, witness, let go.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Please, Pat. And this is especially true if it's something which begins as a response to satsang.
Mm-hmm.
You know, then the instruction is very clear. Just let it pass.
Mm-hmm.
Remain as calm and as peaceful as you can and let it pass, because you know already it's not going to stay for a long time. It's a response somehow that's coming. And the thing is that by doing this, there's the possibility that remaining as this witnessing quality, at some point, it happens 1 time, 10 times, 20 times, 100 times. At some point, if there is something that which is underlying it, you will see it. But because you're already well versed in remaining in the witness position, if you will, you allow it to come and go. Then when you see the reason why it came in the first place, it also comes and goes. And there's no reaction, there's no grasping or clinging. So the reason we come into the witnessing position is so that we minimize this tendency, if we have it, to grasp or cling to some kind of an experience that's happening.
Mm-hmm. Now that you say that, it makes me think that my body reacts as if in a dream when you're falling and you kind of work yourself
Yes.
up. So
Yes.
I like that.
Yes. Because the inquiry actually can generate that kind of experience, but not to you, but rather to the ego. The ego still wants control. Personality still wants control, and you're saying, "No, I'm not. I'm not doing that anymore." So we don't know. We don't know. Just as long as there's no distress, it's not painful physically. Then observing, watching, letting go. This is the way. Kindness, gentleness, no self-criticism, no commentary, just observing. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Yes, very good, very good. All right. Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Vandanam Mrichyon Mukshiyam Amritawa Swaha Bhuva U Om Sat Jung Hang Om. Hari Om Tat Sat. May all beings in this world of toil and trouble find peace, happiness, freedom. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Vasudevaya.